What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to the Morning View here on United View. Hope you guys are doing well. I tell you what, here in the UK at least, the weather is weathering right now. It's nice. We've got like 20 degrees. We've got blue skies. Yeah, it's a little bit warm. So already we need our fans because that's just, we're not really built for it. But it's just nice. It just makes you smile.
How dare you? How dare you? Where we are in the world, okay, this wouldn't even be hot. No, that's not the case. Don't complain. Whenever we bring up the weather, Flex, we're not allowed to, okay, because of the heat. But then you have to point back, don't you, and say, but our houses are built to what? Contain the heat. So when it does get hot, it gets even hotter. And like you said, we're not built for it. We are not built for it at all. But don't complain about the weather.
Right, guys, I'm going to tell you something right now, okay? You guys have known Owen for many years. I'm telling you now, Fleck, yeah? I know when Owen is in these moods, and I have to warn you guys, okay? I have to warn you guys. He's in a certain way. He's in a certain mood. I want the show to transpire so that you lot can sort of guess the type of Owen mood that he's in. He is in an Owen place, right? And we were talking before we went live. We're talking a lot. I'm with him on a lot of stuff. We're going to discuss a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about what's out there. We're going to be talking about opinion. We're going to be talking about fact. And Owen is in the place. I just want to state that, and I want the show to just go on, and I want to see where we get to. I do like it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about because just okay then. Another PSA. Flex is in a flex place this morning as well.
I am. Yeah.
Flex is in a flex place as well. Let's not completely throw it's all on me. I am. I tell you what, Flex, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night as well, actually.
Grouchy.
Why? It's too bloody hot. That's why. It's too hot. Oh.
Ninth Earth said, is he mad because Kane didn't win another trophy? Well, we've got a lot to talk about.
According to Marcel, it's all Thomas Tuchel's fault.
Honestly, but big up to yourselves, man. It's all about having fun. We're near the end of the season. The weather is good, and it does bring smiles to faces, man. No matter where you are in the world, the sun always makes things better. Smash a like on the video. 250 likes is the base level. That's what we love to get. We're already at 500 people watching, so it's going to be a great show. We know that straight away. And we've got 70 likes and the first super chat from Aminor of the day as well. So get your super chats in, get your members chats in, get your comments in as well. Anyhow you guys want to interact, we want you guys to be part of it as well. And as you can see pinned at the top of the chat, remember our community is growing on Playback for extra types of content. We've done a full view extra over there on Playback on Sunday night, which was really, really good. We've done a Flexing KG show extra where you guys get to call in and talk with myself and KG, which was really, really good. So we'll be doing those weekly and more stuff to come. FIFA, career modes, pro clubs, etc., especially as the summer is coming in. Yes. Euros, there's loads of stuff that's possible. So yeah, please do join the Playback community as well. And of course, right here on YouTube, everything will remain the same. And subscribe to the channel. We're going to be talking about Ineos's decisions. We're going to be talking about Ten Hag's future. We're going to talk about centre-back summer exits and some of the incomings as well, and everything else in between. But to kick off the show, Aminor comes straight in with a super chat. He says, Flex, question 1. Can you send a link for the UV merch, please? It's coming. It's on its way. It's in the design / production phase. It's on its way. I can say that. It's in the works.
Beta testing phase.
That's the one.
Yes.
That's why a lot of people have seen KG with a new hat, which he has not taken off ever since. It was supposed to be as just a sample. Yeah. Try this on, see how it fits your head. He's not taken it off since. But a lot of people have messaged me just about the hat, let alone what you're saying, Aminor, about the rest of the merch. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, graphic tees, different types of things. So yes, it's all coming. Question 2. I do not want Tuchel at our club after those disastrous subs last night. And please, no Southgate. So, yep. Again, because of last night and those, substitutions that Tuchel has made, it has scrubbed out his CV. And Tabra says 200k subs, UV members meet up. Who says no? I know. Should it be 250? Should it be 200? Should it be every 100k that we do something? I don't know. Maybe every 250, then the 500, then the 750, we do an actual big thing. And then maybe every 100 we can do like a small meetup. I don't know. We can look at it. Daniel Luciano being a member for 15 months as well. And you guys vote on that as well, by the way. Says, it was interesting to hear other fans' opinion on Erik Ten Hag on yesterday's show. It seems they even can't believe our injury crisis and think he's the best option. Yeah. I done a Flex's view yesterday with Abby and Joel. And usually, obviously, they're there to troll and stuff like that. But even I left that video thinking, they're looking at it like, they have had a lot of injuries, does cost a lot to get rid of a manager. You could be better off just seeing how it goes. And that echoes a lot of views of a lot of our fan base too. So yes, Owen, over to you.
Yes, so let's talk about the future, shall we say, and what is it going to be? Is it going to be an Erik Ten Hag future? Is it going to be a Thomas Tuchel future? Is it going to be a Gareth Southgate future? Is it going to be a someone else future? Well, Ineos are going to decide, and some interesting quotes that came out yesterday about all of this, Flex. So first of all, this came from Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph, who said that Manchester United will not pick a successor to Erik Ten Hag on their trophy record alone, which boosts the chances of Gareth Southgate emerging as the favourite for the post if he is sacked. It continued on by saying Manchester United are believed to be weary of prioritising short-term gain and risking long-term pain in any future managerial appointments. That does not rule out a move for a candidate such as Tuchel, who won the Champions League at Chelsea, should he demonstrate a willingness and a desire to help build something sustainable at Old Trafford. What about Erik Ten Hag, though? Well, Andy Mitten, in a piece he wrote for The Athletic, said there is an acceptance that Ten Hag has not had it easy with injuries this season. And to kind of conclude that, Andy Mitten also said football will always come first for Ineos at Manchester United, which is something that wasn't the case under previous leaders who would ignore performances on the pitch to assure staff that commercial activity was buoyant. So you've kind of got, I guess, a bit for everyone there, haven't you? You've got a bit for them saying that, this is why things are still open and everything's kind of still at play. If you want to take Ten Hag first, there is an acceptance from Ineos that there's been a lot of mitigating circumstances this season, and he hasn't had it easy this season, which is probably fair to say. Well, certainly is fair to say, not probably, is fair to say. You've then got, for Thomas Tuchel, they're saying just because we're not solely focused on a previous track record of just trophies, but with him, if he's willing to commit to a longer term, willing to build something, he's absolutely in the running. And of course, he's available. Then if Gareth Southgate, disgrace, but if Gareth Southgate won, they're not focusing on trophies. So it could be possible for him as well. So certainly a decision is on the horizon. A decision is there soon. What I will say with the Thomas Tuchel stuff, Flex, is the agendas on both sides of the argument for this are totally out of control. Last night was a madness. And and you could say, oh, you're sitting on the fence, whatever. But this was my observation last night. Regardless if you want Thomas Tuchel or you don't want Thomas Tuchel, you want Erik Ten Hag or you don't want Erik Ten Hag, the amount of flip-flopping was madness. Absolute madness. My point being is, right, Andre Onana makes a mistake for Manchester United this season several times, but he's made a mistake. And there's sort of two narratives coming out of that. One narrative is it's an individual error. It's not the manager's fault. Last night, Manuel Neuer makes a mistake. Thomas Tuchel, those same people would go, Thomas Tuchel's an idiot. Thomas Tuchel's a fool. He's rubbish. He's a terrible coach. Now, on the flip side of that, when Andre Onana made the mistake earlier on in the season, you would get people that would go, Erik Ten Hag's at fault. Erik Ten Hag's an idiot. And then last night, those same people go, it's an individual error. He can't do much about that. How many times have we seen Man United bottle a lead and collapse this season? Some people have said when that's happened, that's not on Erik Ten Hag. That's the player's mentality. You can't blame the manager. Happens to Bayern last night. That's Thomas Tuchel's fault. He's the manager. He has to take responsibility of those mentality. And then the opposite side of that is when Man United bottled a lead this season, people that have gone, that's Ten Hag's fault. He's got to get the players better. He's in charge of them. Last night, those same people go, it's not Thomas Tuchel's fault. It's the players. You can't
as well, Owen. First half, most of the game, Bayern's attackers, let's be real, got into great positions. Well coached. He's coached them up to the final third. If Sane keeps over hitting that pass, or Kane couldn't find the ball through, or Musiala was wasteful, What do you want Thomas Tuchel to do? Get on the pitch and make the pass himself?
It's really nuts, and that's kind of like been my point recently. It's like, regardless of what side you're on, I don't know why you have to be on a side or on a team anyway within a team that you support. Like, the tribalism is out of control, but we start ignoring reality. It doesn't matter. Like, the same things. We'll just say the opposite of what we've said earlier on this season about, because it's someone else. Like, to me, that I just found that like baffling last night. Absolute baffling. Like, if you want, and then, you know, you come out of the game being like, this is why Thomas Tuchel's terrible. He took off Harry Kane. It then comes off, you know, he actually had to take him off. He's got a bad back. That's why he took him off. It doesn't matter though, because if you made your mind up on it, like, all of it is just nuts. I think what you can say, if you were going to say it like straight down the middle and call it objectively, you would say the same thing that you've said, that I will say the same thing rather, that I've said about Erik ten Hag this season, about Thomas Tuchel last night, is you live and die by your decisions. I don't disagree with the idea of shutting up shop, you know, but you also then have to realize that, okay, you can take Harry Kane off because he's injured, but then you got to leave some people on because it's a risk. It's a risk. And you live and die by that risk. It either pays off and you're a genius, or it doesn't pay off and you're a fool. And were they unlucky? Sure, they were unlucky because individual errors. Even when earlier on this season with like Ten Hag, those individual errors, I totally agree with that point of view. You can't do much. I can't do much about that as a manager. But just like the flip-flopping last night to suit different agendas, whatever side you were on, was just, I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And you know what is wild flex too? I don't know how, and this just goes to show how big Manchester United are. I don't know how we finished bottom in our group in the Champions League. We haven't been in this competition in this calendar year, 2024. And somehow both Champions League semi-finals ended up somehow being a referendum on Man United and the Manchester United manager. Do you know how wild that is? Like, coming out of the PSG Dortmund one, it's like Jadon Sancho, Erik ten Hag, blah, 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 blah. Last night coming out of it's Thomas Tuchel, Erik ten Hag, and you're going, we haven't even been in this competition since like December. It's just nuts. It is insane.
Yeah, and the truth is about the whole thing is that there are, like how you assess Erik ten Hag, again, it's just got to be the balance. It isn't all one thing when in relation to, excuse me, the Tuchel situation last night. If that comes off, lauded, went to the Bernabeu, they defended quite well. Yes, Real Madrid had the better chances for a little bit, hit the post and stuff like that. Neuer made massive saves, you know, being Neuer. Neuer was Neuer, world class, big saves. And they rode the luck a little bit. In transition, they were coached well enough to create opportunities. But, you know, even in commentary, they were saying, this has happened all night. Their end product individually, Harry Kane not finding the destination, Sane overcooking passes, Musiala giving it away, Gnabry wasteful. Like, they individually, they let themselves down as the final third, but collectively as a team, they had good structure. Then, you know, he has to bring on Alphonso Davies because Gnabry gets injured. What a strike, wonder goal. Oh my God. Then you sort of say, now you're getting into the bit of hero or zero. You know, if you see that out and you've brought on Kim Min-jae, took off your attackers and that, and you see it out 1-0, everyone would have said, absolutely, Tuchel, I tell you what, Real Madrid DNA, everything against you. They always find a way. Not today. You saw it out. Now, the Kim Min-jae one, I mean, Paul Scholes picked up on it as well, and I do agree. He was a big problem in the first leg, gave away a penalty, got done on the first goal, massive trouble. Like, you could see he didn't want to play. That's a boo-boo. That's on, you know, he wasn't ready. He didn't look comfortable. Thomas Tuchel got that wrong. Then you also take off Musiala at the same time, like you said, as the Kane situation, where it's like, there's still 10 minutes plus injury time. Even if they get one, you're looking at extra time. So to completely leave yourself void of any attacking potency, because with Muller and Choupo-Moting and them, man, you're done. You're toast. And that's essentially what happened. But like you say, up until that point, like, Neuer was the catalyst for giving the whole Bernabeu the energy that, let's face it, even the best team in the world in Man City, you know, couldn't overcome the DN. Like, Real Madrid have not been good. They were on the back foot in both legs against Manchester City. But we all said after the penalties, fucking no, the DNA is just they just find a way. You know, last night they were looking like they were sure to go out and they find a way. it's just like Pep in the Champions League final when he actually lost to Tuchel, when he got accused of, why didn't you play Fernandinho? Oh, you took out this player. Oh, you didn't start so-and-so. It happens. It
Look at Real
happens.
Madrid versus Man City at the Bernabeu just a few years ago, right? Just a few
Yeah.
years ago. Same thing. Late goals, Karim Benzema, penalty. Like,
Done it against Chelsea.
That's why last year, when the second leg was at the Etihad, that's why people said, "Oh, City going to go through." Because if it's the second legs at the Bernabeu, like, you just
You're in
got no
trouble.
chance. You just got no chance. But you're right, and this goes back to like how two things can be true at the same time, can't they? An individual error, manager can't legislate for that. Like, what are they going to do? But at the same time, maybe some of those subs that he did, he got a bit wrong. Maybe he shut up shop just a little bit too early. Maybe he left nothing on the counter-attack when he maybe should have left at least something on the counter-attack if he knew that Harry Kane was injured. Some people were saying if Harry Kane was carrying a back injury, then why did he have to play at the weekend in the Bundesliga in essentially a worthless match? Like that. And again, those things can both be true. And that was kind of my point wider with the agenda stuff, is just that like we are at the stage now, and I guess this goes back to how ambiguous things are at the moment with Manchester United, that we're just kind of ignoring things based on what we want as opposed to what the reality is. So if you were a staunch Eric Ten Hag defender, last night is a clear example why Thomas Tuchel is a bum and he's never won anything. If you're a staunch Eric Ten Hag, like, I don't think he's the right guy, last night was, that's not Tuchel's fault, he's just very unlucky. And it's, again, the reality is it's somewhere in between. And also, as we've said several times, I don't think if Ineos, let's say Ineos have decided that they want Thomas Tuchel, I don't think last night does anything to change their mind because of that. They would have made their mind up. If Eric Ten Hag, Ineos had decided that he wasn't the guy for them, even how bad Monday was, I don't think that's like, oh, we actually were going to keep him, but Monday was the thing that really we just decided.
No, it's not going to be those substitutions. And the same way it's not those substitutions, I think if you were thinking about Tuchel or looking at Tuchel, I don't think you should decide. Well, Aminor did, to be fair. That's what Aminor did. He said, after them substitutions last night, no, not for me. Me personally, I think if you're going to not want Tuchel, make it be for overall, like, how you see him as a manager. If you're saying it's the project, he can't stay at the project, he starts getting angry, starts falling out with people. If it's that, it's that. The same way with Eric Ten Hag. I mean, we're in a position now where we're basically going down the road of like, if we can get the FA Cup and calm down a bit, and I don't think it's like that at this point. Even though I say momentum's a funny thing, but I would think maybe Ineos would have to look at it as, let's just assume we're not going to win anything for the rest of this season, like, because that's the way it looks like it's going to play out anyway. That's why I say, like, it has to be, the sample size has to be bigger than just one game, either for or against him, So it was just like I said, it was just really, really wild. It was always, to be fair though,
it was always going to be that, wasn't it?
It was whether he won or not because of the story. That's just, he's linked with United, and obviously the story of Sancho with what's happened during the season. They're just written, they're just ready either way. If Sancho would have went out, people who disagree with what Sancho done and go mad would have said, see, he's nobody, he's nothing, leave him, he hasn't done anything, couldn't even get past it. And then it goes the other way around when he does get through. And now if he doesn't win it against Real Madrid and Jude Bellingham shines, then, it'd be like, so what? He got to a Champions League final, he didn't win it, he was rubbish at Wembley, he didn't do anything. It's ready. It's already ready. Daniel, All Elite says, when United gets us down, you both bring us right back up. Thank you as always, guys. Love this channel. PS Flex Talksport love a headline, don't they? Yes, they do love a headline. They always love a headline. And Ryan says, do people forget that 2 years ago, Pep and City conceded 3 times in stoppage time at the Bernabeu in the Champions League semi-final? Tuchel unlucky. And this is what we're talking about. In terms of heritage, like Owen just said, that game, they did it against Chelsea as well in the next round, or the round before, didn't they? It was a crazy run. That's
just what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. MG Channel says, Flex, you'll start to act like Goldbridge, selfish. We don't want none of them. My choice motto. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. How do I sound like Mark? I sound very different. We've got different voices, different tones of voice. We're completely different. I'd love to know how how you think that. I'd love to know more. And Armar says, a theory. We want to keep Eric Ten Hag despite this dismal season because we want to break the cycle. But we have broken the cycle with Ineos, who are instituting a system with a head coach, not a manager, i.e. there's a new cycle that started. Ivor Clip says, can we get Marcel on the morning show to get some sober thoughts on the status of the team and manager? Yeah, because he's really calm about everything.
Hey, I don't know if you saw him tweeting last night. I don't know if I described that as sober. It was good. Some of the stuff was wild. And this is the thing, yeah. I don't think sometimes people realize this with Marcel. Sometimes he's got an innocent look on his face, but sometimes when he says things or when he does things, he knows exactly what he's doing. So like last night, again, there was the one I saw was there's a picture of Harry Kane sitting on the bench, looking quite sad. Obviously, they haven't got to Champions League final, they haven't won a trophy. And Marcel quote tweets it, and he's like, Tuchel did this. And I was like, Marcel loves kicking the beehive. He loves kicking the beehive. And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. He's worse than me with it. He's worse than me.
Proper gaslighter.
Oh my God, yeah. He's the best.
Akash says Omar and Ashworth should decide Eric Ten Hag fate, not Ineos, which I feel, we have seen some reports sort of like, going down that road that the football guys are going to help make that decision, not just the guys who have bought the club or part of the club. Dominic says, have concerns with Tuchel, but Kane's back was gone. And Aminor says, Tuchel is a good coach, but is he really an upgrade on Eric Ten Hag? Tell you what, that's a good question before we move on. It's a nice and easy question that we can just put in a poll, Aminor. There you go. Start a poll. Is Tuchel an upgrade on Ten Hag? Really simple question. And yes or no. There you go. Get in the chat. Let us know.
I'll tell you what was wild, Flex, with the game last night as well, is the last minute flag up decision by the linesman. I could not believe it. I was absolutely stunned. And it's not even, for me, it's not even a case of like, oh, he's definitely onside or he's definitely offside. Like, it's tight. Like, it's very, very tight. And you've had a goal.
You've got to leave it.
You've had a goal be given by semi-automated offside. We know it's quick. We know it's good. We know it's accurate. We know it's reliable. Let it play out. Like, just let it play out. See what happens. And Paul Scholes made a good point. Like, even if he hadn't put his flag up, because the Real Madrid players and the goalkeeper did kind of stop. So you don't really, would that have even really happened? Would they made a save? Would the Real Madrid defenders done a bit more? Like, you don't know. There was still a lot to happen there. But they absolutely,
it's why you got to let it play out.
Yeah, absolutely have a right to be upset by that. And by all accounts, like the linesman and the ref both went up to Bayern after the game, went, sorry, we got that wrong. And you're like, fuck, like, so sorry, like, my God. And again, it very well could be offside, but it just, if you then let it go to that technology, it just removes all the element of doubt, doesn't it? We're back to ambiguity again. We don't really know. And because the linesman put his flag up and they blew the whistle, VAR didn't even have the opportunity to look at it, or at least
you need to deal in absolutes at this stage of the competition. Well, any stage of the competition, because the Champions League, isn't it? It's the biggest club competition in the world. So, but when the stakes are so high, you need to let things play out so that it's unequivocally right or unequivocally wrong. You can't have this grey area in between, especially when the technology is there to do it.
Exactly. And again, it's not even like, oh, he was definitely off, or he was definitely on, or he definitely would have scored. That's kind of by the by, isn't it? It's like, well, we don't know. But if you let that play out, then we would have known, but now we don't. And it was just, it was a big mistake.
I will say this, which Court Star just alluded to. There are currently more votes than there are likes. And that is very, very true. Is Tuchel an upgrade on Ten Hag? 39% are currently saying yes. 62% are currently saying no.
Did your microphone just switch, by the way, Flex?
Don't know. I haven't done anything. Still says everything's the same.
Might be me.
Yeah. No one said I sound different. Do I sound different in the chat, guys? Or Flex voice just changed? Oh. Shall I just refresh? Don't know what's happened there. Let me know in the chat. And we'll go from there. Both of yours changed. Yeah, something's changed. Yes, different. I can't hear Flex too. Oh. Sounds distant. Okay, I'll refresh. Owen, over to you.
Well, it might have been me as well. I was very confused by it. Maybe am I back now? I'll have a look.
I'm back. Both changed. Owen too. Yeah.
I'll refresh as well.
You know, we'll pass the baton. You know what I mean? You guys let us know. Yeah, you both sound different. Flex is back, so good. I've refreshed. Flex is good again now. Owen can just refresh as well. The reason why it did that was because, like someone just said, Courts said, 336 votes there are going on with this, Ted Tuchel an upgrade on Ten Hag, yes or no, and only 265 likes. Come on, guys, we can do that. We can do much better. For every vote that you put on the poll, drop a like on the video. You can do it. 1,300 people watching as well. Tabarez says, recall Jaden just before the Champions League final. 100%. Imagine that. That would be like proper shit housery as well. And that would, to do that would just be do that. That would be like one of the most horrible things you could ever do. I do not advocate that.
I think I'm back now.
Yeah, you never really changed in my ears, so
it was very strange. It just sort of went poof.
Yeah.
And I thought like, oh, maybe it's on my headphones, but it was on everything. That's never happened before.
Gosh. 294 likes, nearly at 300. Well done, guys. We smashed the 250. Like I said, we've got 1,300 people watching, so subscribe to the channel as well. Let's move it on a little bit in terms of, Ten Hag's future, where we're at. People alluded to the fact that, the video yesterday done with Abby and Joel, they were leaning towards, tell you what, I can see why, if it's PSR and paying him off versus lack of suitors versus the injuries, just give him a bit more time and see how it goes next season.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's strong arguments on both sides, isn't there? There is. And unfortunately, I was thinking about this yesterday as well, Flex, that until a decision is made either way, regardless of what direction it's going to be, it's just going to be more of this, isn't it? And we've got some really difficult games coming up. Arsenal at the weekend, and then Newcastle and Brighton, and like that discussion's just going to get even more and more. And I don't like using the word toxic, but there's just that. I think there is, let's say, a yearning from United fans just to have an answer, isn't there? Let's just have an answer either way, because all of this does stem from it being still very ambiguous, still being like, well, we don't know. Ineos, they don't really know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And it is interesting to hear, like you say, opposition fans go, well, actually, we don't think maybe he's that bad. And he has had a difficult time with injuries and other stuff this season too. So I don't know. I don't know about you. I'm very tired by it all. I'm very tired by it all. I'm tired by like the really, like I said, I think the stuff that really just tire me is is just the real defensive stuff that ignores like a lot of the reality of things, of like sort of going, the idea that Ten Hag hasn't had injuries this season. Well, he's not. You go, well, yeah, we have. Like that is a thing. That is a thing. Like there are mitigating circumstances. But then you do look to alternatives like Thomas Tuchel, and then you like say play down his CV of he's never won anything. You go, well, he has. Or they go like, well, he's been sacked before, so he can't be any good. And you go, well, Carlo Ancelotti, like last night, the same person who we're revering, like, he's been sacked in his career. Like that's not. That's not the reason
why. Yeah,
most managers have. So for me, it's just the kind of like, I don't know. It's like any side of the argument is their own like PR firm, isn't it? Like they're so staunchly in that corner, and that's why I say like I feel like for all of those different points of view, everyone just kind of needs to be put out their own misery and just find out what it's going to be, because then we can all get on with it. If it's Ten Hag staying, then we can go right. Focus on the summer. Focus on getting rid of players, focus on bringing players in, focus on next season, what that looks like. If it's not Eric, it's like, right, who's that next person going to be? Focus on that. Focus again on the summer window, focus on next season, and that's what it's going to be. But the longer we live in this like purgatory, when we're like, I just don't know which way we're going, it leads to more division. And the problem is that division exists, and then a match happens, and then it gets really out of control.
Well, that's the match is the deciding thing. The match is is literally the decider. The winning or losing in a particular game or a particular competition, if you win the actual cup or whatever or league, that is the deciding factor, not all the culmination of things that have happened before. And yeah, I'm just at the point where, look, I've made my feelings clear. I just think Eric can't turn it around. I don't think he can. I'm not shying away from it. I'm not on the fence. I don't think he can turn it around. But, however, again, it's not a make sure you 100% get out of my club. Like, I can see also, I'll be honest, when people do talk about it, the lack of suitors. It's only really Tuchel who's like an obvious, like, he's got pedigree and he will be available. Southgate, no. Potter for me, no. De Zerbi for me, no. If it's out of them three, I would rather stick with Ten Hag. I would. And I know, again, this is just my opinion. When people say your opinion, people are completely entitled to say, I don't agree with that because of X, or I do. That's what this is for. So I don't actually have a problem with people disagreeing and saying, a lot of people have sort of said to me, which this is the bit I do want to say, like, I've lost respect for you because of X, or
You're
used
evil.
to follow you. Yeah, I used to follow you, Flex, because, or I still do rate you, Flex, but, this is nonsense what you're saying. It's just my opinion. Like, it hasn't changed me as a person or how I actually am. It's just my opinion on this specific issue. Like, it's okay. Like, don't even make it a respect thing. Like, this is just my opinion at this second. My opinion can change again. Maybe it will. Like, but I just respect you lot enough to just not let you know what my opinion is. Would it be better for me to just not really say what I think and hold back? And the whole point of this thing is, like, when the going is good. So when Eric came in and we went to Ajax and we brought you all that content and we did all that stuff, and I want to give you more of an insight, and we're winning cups and my feelings was high, and, so everyone's rocking with it then as soon as, like, the opinion changes and we don't align, it doesn't have to be I don't like you anymore, or I don't respect you anymore, or I'm going to stop watching. You can just say, I really don't agree with Flex's view on Eric Ten Hag right now. I'm here and he's here. Or I can say that vice versa. Or you can say that to anyone in the chat, or someone you at work, or someone in your family. I don't get this thing of, like,
Flex, you can't win. I'm telling you, you can't.
But Owen,
Crazy
but to be fair, content creation and being in this space, I've seen it over. Well, I've been in it 7. Oh my god, I'm getting old. In October, it might be 8 years. Wow. Anyway, back from right at the beginning of Jose's reign, when I was at United Stand, I've seen what it's like at the end of Jose, how it gets at the end of Oli, how it gets now. And it has been the same every time. You're either all on the same page until you're not. So that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like, again, you can't win. You can't win because if you try and see both sides of the argument, then of course you're sitting on the fence. You're not sharing your opinion. You're a politician. If you do give your opinion, automatically there's 50% of people that won't agree with that. Which, like you said, then that's I've lost respect for you. You've changed. You've changed. The funny one that I've noticed in the last few days is so you say that you don't want Jadon Sancho to come back because he's where he should be, he's doing well, blah, blah, blah. That means you're staunchly Eric Ten Hag in, and you can't look at Jadon Sancho objectively because you're staunchly Eric Ten Hag in. And then you say, but the tactics this season and some of the decisions I can't really get behind. Why are you so Eric Ten Hag out secretly, but you won't say it? Like, you cannot win. And that's when I circle back to, like, with Ineos, just they just need to put us all out of our misery, I think, or just, like, make the decision. I mean, thankfully, we're going to find out in like 3 weeks, like after the FA Cup final, by all accounts, they're going to make their decision and we'll know what it is. And then hopefully collectively we can move on. Not that we ever do, because we still bring up, Ralph Rangnick, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, and it's been several years since they were employed by Manchester United. But what can you do? And also the other strange thing, and I have noticed this, is that heaven forbid, Flex, heaven forbid you change your opinion. Heaven forbid you change your opinion and you go, I tell you what, I think I was wrong on that. And actually, with some new data and some new information, I'm going to go here. Well, you said 3.5 years ago this. So that
means you must stick by this thing. So, like, do not move. And then if you don't adapt what you said 3.5 years ago, you just want to stick by what you said because you don't want to move.
You want to change your opinion.
You're too stubborn. You just want to say you was right. So you're just saying that from the beginning, you won't move from Ten Hag being the right man because you just want to be proved right when he turns it around. So you won't change your opinion. Look at us. Or vice versa. You change your opinion every week. So you can be right. Yeah. Our job as a fan is to, like, we get on the highs and we do get emotionally involved. And I was at the 8. if we was all to come with our takes of like, I tell you what, that didn't age well, we'd be here for ages. I was outside Wembley after the Carabao Cup final. I said, finally, we're on our way back. One trophy in the bag. We've beaten Barcelona in the Europa League. Look at this. Look at this. We're in the semi-finals of that. Like, this is what we finally want. Erik Ten Hag is the man. That's what I said in February last year. That's what I said.
downed 2 cups of Carabao. I couldn't go to sleep for like 18 hours. I didn't realize how strong they were. I got the shakes. Like,
yeah, exactly. I was at the, when we went into Spain to the new camp and we got that 2-2 and then made it happen again after that. I was like, without Weghorst and so imagine next season when we've actually got the players that this guy's got 2 hands tied behind his back and he's still gone to the Bernabeu. Still gone to the new camp and done that. Look at Casemiro and Gavi's face because he's Real Madrid through and through. We've got a proper leader. I was saying them things. When Anthony scored against Arsenal and did that, I was like, see, come on. They all said that. When Anthony scored against Barca, won us the game. I was like, I see that. Come on. Look at this, man. The guys, they're telling him not to do his little spinneroonie thing. Leave him alone. He's Brazilian. Let him express himself. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
And now look, I'm saying Anthony's one of our worst ever signings.
he made the Andre Onana song. A few months later, he said I want him out, and then he said he want him back in. He said with Anthony, we didn't pay enough. Like this is part of being a football fan, isn't it? It's part of being the football fan. It's part of the experience. So yeah, but Flex, just so you know, every time that we have a disagreement in opinion, I lose a lot of respect for you. Every day, every time it happens, I lose my respect.
This is why we barely speak. This is why we barely speak because the respect levels are just dwindling.
Yeah. As soon as we finish the show, we don't talk. We just there's a sort of a hang up, and I just go, well, Flex, we had a disagreement today, so I've lost a lot of respect.
Yeah. And Liam Fearon says it there. Life comes at you fast, man. And it probably is more of that. And do you know what it is? Because then you get in the bit of like, okay, so as a fan, then because also people will call this out when things are good. And you're too coy. So say after the Carabao Cup final, I was like, I tell you what, it's one trophy, but listen, I don't know about this guy, man. I need to see, it is what it is. Yeah, we beat Barcelona the game before as well. We need to, I'm not so sure, man. Like, I don't want to be getting all excited and stuff. It would be, Flex, you're at Wembley. Like, enjoy it, mate. Like, you're a fan. Like, this is what the moments are for. When I'm too old to go football and, maybe watch from at home and don't go games anymore, whatever. Days out at Wembley, no matter what position your club is in, are to be savoured. Like, that is what being a fan is all about, especially if you win. Those are the things you remember. And yeah, it's a Carabao Cup. I get that. And no one remembers, if you lose the FA Cup final. Like, I'm not going to remember forever going to the cup final last year. It's gone. Like, we lost. But, like, you should savor those things. But if you don't celebrate them enough, i.e., we've just been on a good run. We beat Arsenal, we beat Liverpool, we beat Man City, and you get a bit excited, but you don't want to celebrate. It's like, no, celebrate those things. These are good progress. You can say it.
Even
so, but you have to get the balance of like, I don't really want to commit to saying how good this is because in 6 months it could be really bad. But actually, it's not how. I was just about to say that. In life, if you just thought like that, we'd be too scared to enjoy anything in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
The sun's out today. I tell you what, this is brilliant. I tell you what, mate, it could be raining on Friday, so just don't hold your breath.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, even the stuff you do around it. I remember last year with the Wembley and the FA Cup final when we did we filmed the thing outside of it or whatever. Yeah, it's great. It was great. I got sunburned on an overcast day. Don't know how.
That was mental. That was so
we tried to film it. It took like 50 takes as well, and then we had to do it on the last one because someone was coming to shut us down. Like, you can even see when I grab the microphone, there's someone behind me, and I have to sort of go carry on.
The things they don't see, the effort that goes into this. Honestly, seriously, man. Where are we at? We are at 371 likes with just under 1,500 people watching live as well. So please do smash a like. Let's get to 400 ASAP before we carry on with the show. Let's get to the super chats. Show says Champions League is for losers. Has Tuchel ever beaten Herenveen? No. So he can't chat to the special elite Erik Ten Hag. Fat 4 says, big up our OG Oracle David Lee. Get well soon, bro. Yeah, big up David Lee. Get well soon. I hope he's all right. I hope David Lee's good.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. Yeah.
A real OG, actually. Big up David Lee. Hope you're good, man, if you're still here. Harry says, when we say turn it around, do we mean this season or generally? Even the new structure and the players? Oh, this season you can't turn it around. No. I mean, when I'm sort of saying what I think about Ten Hag, I mean like overall, like in the new structure, in everything. I don't see it. Um, but I could be wrong, and hope I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? Kind of vibe. Craig Block says, I hate you all for your opinions because they've changed. Madness. Exactly, Craig. It is crazy. You've changed your opinion. I hate you all. Centre backs.
Yes, a little bit of an update when it comes to centre-backs. To be honest, it kind of confirms what we had really speculated, is that, yes, there are going to be centre-backs leaving, but not every single one, particularly when it comes to Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. So Rob Dawson from the ESPN said that Manchester United are open to offers for Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, although it is likely one of them will stay, which I suppose, Flex, brings up the question, which one? I think you said before Harry Maguire you think is going to stay out of those two. Is there any possibility it could be Victor instead of Harry?
What, that stays?
That
Or
goes.
that goes? Yeah, it's really, I think the centre back situation at Man United this summer is probably the hardest to navigate through in terms of the end outcome, because it depends on so many things. It really, really does. Everyone does have their price. Well, Varane's free, so that doesn't count. Johnny Evans is free, so that doesn't count. So they take them out of the equation. The ones that are left have their prices, apart from obviously Martinez. So Lindelof has a price because he's got a year left, so he pretty much got to sell. And the amount of money you could get for Harry Maguire if someone comes into him after a good Euros, Man United can't scoff at. So I think it depends on what. And obviously looking at Johnny Evans, again, because he's really, really low cost, so he could be like fifth choice maybe next year. Do you just give him a new year just to give? Because otherwise, there's a lot of moving parts, too many probably to do in one window, which is why when that report says one of those will probably stay, if we're being honest, one of them probably has to. Oh, not because. So you're saying they shouldn't move on. This is the problem. The players, no, it is economical, and you cannot ignore the economical factors. And this is why it's so hard to just get rid of all these players and let a manager stay. Because one, you can't do it that quickly. It takes ages. So these same players are going to have to stay, even if a new manager comes in for a certain part until you start undoing it. And two, FFP, financial fair play, money, PSR, all of that stuff. So I can't answer it. I don't know. If West Ham under Lopetegui come in and say, here's 35 million for Harry Maguire again, Man United will again look at it. Man United will accept that bid, because for 35 million, they can take that and put that towards whatever they want to do. If Todibo costs 40, 45, whatever, it go towards that. If Bradford's going to cost 80, it can go towards funding that. Whatever. So I don't know what the exact prices are, but they can use it. It's a substantial money. If Lindelof, if a bid comes in for him for bloody, 10 million, 12 million, something like that, again, he's in his last year. Man United aren't going to negotiate the hell out of it to say, no, we want more. They're going to take it. Lindelof probably will accept as well, because he knows he's not really going to play now. So I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's going to be really difficult to nail down what happens, because it depends how much money we've got to spend on centre-backs outright. Just, do we have enough money to buy two by ourselves? Probably not. Maybe, like they said about the spine. So we've got enough. Well, it says we've got 100 million, really, to actually spend. And the rest is sales, which is quite rough. Very rough.
I mean, it depends, doesn't it? Because Man United, I feel like they've said that the last 3 years, and then we end up spending loads of money anyway. But look, but under Ineos, it might be legitimately, it's 100 million. Anything else is just sales. We're not going to eat into future budgets or anything like that. And this is when I do think we do have to manage expectations somewhat going into the summer, because there are going to be a lot of players leaving because contracts are coming up and people have got a year left. But we also have to wrap our heads around that. Again, not everyone is going to go, and that's okay, because it's not feasible. That doesn't mean they're not going to go in the future. It just means, again, it's going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a bit of extra time. I do think with Lindelof and Maguire, you probably would say Lindelof is the one more likely to go, because he's got a year left and he might be more open to a move than Maguire. But it does depend. If like you say, if Harry Maguire does have a good Euros and someone comes back in and either Ten Hag or a new coach says to him, I'm just not going to play you, maybe then Maguire might think, well, actually, I'm not captain anymore. I did prove myself to an extent last season. I kind of finished the story, as it were, as I wanted to. now maybe the time is for me to go. And like you say, if it's West Ham again and it's under a Lopetegui and they go, oh, big stuff's happening at West Ham, maybe that is what happens then. I don't know. So I still think that one's quite open. But if I had to make a bet, I'd be like, well, probably going to be more Lindelof.
Probably Lindelof. I think Maguire will probably edge staying. Yeah. And also, but the weird thing is that if Ten Hag does stay, he's proved already that Harry Maguire's not his starting centre back. Like when everyone's fit, he's not. And Varane will leave. So whoever replaces Varane, you're assuming if Erik Ten Hag stays, whoever replaces Varane will be the guy. Like whether it's Todibo, whether it's Braithwaite, whether it's Adebayo, or whoever it's going to be, Mark Gahey, whoever, I don't know. But Erik Ten Hag made it abundantly clear that he doesn't want Harry Maguire to start for him. Like, and this is why I do feel for Erik Ten Hag. This is in support of him. He made it clear what his vision really, really was in the first year. No McTominay and Fred. They were both benched in the first year. No Maguire and Lindelof. They were gone. Yeah. So that's two starting central midfielders and two starting centre backs straight away, straight off the bat. Decided it wasn't going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka and it was going to be Dalot from the start. That's the actual what he wanted. Luke Shaw, fair enough. Rashford, fair enough. Bruno, fair enough. He decided he wanted it to be Anthony, but that didn't work. He decided that we're better with Martial, but couldn't rely on him. But since then, hasn't managed to get the level of support and investment into the central striker position. Had to play over the odds for Rasmus Højlund as a starter. But ideally, like you said with Gary Neville, I wanted someone out there who's been there and done it. We couldn't get him. So I had to go for talent development instead.
Yeah.
So I do. These are legitimate mitigating circumstances for saying back Ten Hag, because that is the situation of what he's operating under, and that is so difficult to do. So difficult to do. Absolutely. And then all their players have been injured this year.
Absolutely, of course. So, like I said, and I think that's when we have to circle back to, again, managing the expectations for the summer, because I know, and this is the pushback, isn't it? When you say rip it up, so you want all of the players to go immediately. Well, of course, in an ideal world, we're playing Football Manager or FIFA. We can just, clear the roster, start again. But we're not playing a game. We're living in reality, aren't we? That's just not going to be feasible. That's not going to be possible. So again, you look at the back line in general. This is what's crazy about it is, the ideal back line really hasn't been available all season. And even in the ideal back line, there's an argument to be made that half of it need to be replaced in the left back and the centre back in Varane and Luke Shaw. So there's already like wholesale surgery that has to go into that. And then also all the other key positions that we're talking about too, when we go, well, we probably need to find that like Casemiro replacement that's younger, that can get around. Oh, and also we need to get another striker. And actually, what we're going to do when it comes to maybe like the right-hand side or the left-hand side, what do we do about like, there's an argument to be made for near enough every position at Man United that we need to recruit for again, as well as getting rid of a lot of these players again. So there's a lot of work to do, and it's just not going to be done in one window.
And you're so right about the level of expectation. The same way how if a new manager comes in, like again, that reset and that level of calmness and patience must be exercised. We have to do the same with Ineos. At the same time, they got responsibilities and duties to show enough buy-in for us.
Yeah, they have to get players.
On the train.
You know what I mean?
They have to get players. We have to see good decisions being made. We also, what would really help is seeing like some significant sales. Oh, I'll tell you what, they do mean bits too. Yeah, he's up for sale, or like a significant departure. I think would help us go.
There's one where it's not a quick win. You know what I mean? Because all the ones this summer you can think of appear to be fairly foregone conclusion, don't they? When we're talking about Lindelof or Maguire, you go, well, yeah, one of them, Varane, that's a foregone conclusion. He's not getting a new contract. Even like a Casemiro feels somewhat of a foregone conclusion, isn't it? Maybe not as much. But like you said, if there was one that was kind of like, well, I tell you what, I didn't see that. Even if it was, say, like a McTominay, because that's not a foregone conclusion, is it? I mean, there is a feeling that he might stay. He's still got time left in his contract. But let's say McTominay does get sold for like 40 million. You'd be like, I tell you what, didn't see that one coming. And that does mean business. Maybe, like you said, it'll be interesting to know what is like that exit or that signing that would maybe change people's opinions or to give them enough buy-in of actually. That's different. I didn't think that one. It'd be interesting to know what people think that is, or in their minds, what that will be.
Yeah, very. I can't. On one side, I'm really actually excited for the transfer window because I'm like, this is just so new. What are they going to do here? How is this whole mess going to get sorted out? But on the other hand, how many times have we gone into windows, quite excited? Remember Eric's first window, after the first, he's like, his second window, exciting. What we're going to do? And we're like,
it was the same as every other window, wasn't it? It was the same as every other because those first two was like, well, these are John Murto windows now. Let's see what happens. And Murto madness was just that. It was madness. It was just, and even I remember, and again, this goes back to being wrong and holding your hands up and going, I was wrong on that one. I remember in that first transfer window, initially there was a lot of freak out because we weren't doing stuff, and I was at the time being like, "We've got to be patient. Things will happen. Calm down." And it was, and it is. Yeah. I mean, we did end up signing lots of players in the end, but it was really late on. So yeah, you almost. So you have to, but you have to be almost acknowledge that, okay, well, these new people are in, let's see what they do. And once the window closes, you can judge them. Same as anything, isn't it? Those people that work above, once the window shuts, you can judge them on the window. With football managers, once the season ends, you can judge them based on results, what they've won, where they finish. Players, same as well. You get to the end of the season, you judge them on their performances across the season. And that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to wait till the end of the window for these guys and see okay, how did you do? What mitigating circumstances are there? Should you have done better, etc., etc., etc. So, like you said, I have no idea what to expect. None.
No.
Not a clue.
And you just we just got to sit back and wait and see. Guys, we need about 70 odd more, 69 more likes to be able to get to 500 before we wrap up the show. I think we could do that, guys. Come on. We can do that. And just before we kind of wrap, as you guys are liking up the video to get us to 500 likes, a little bit from Court Offside. They're a big outlet. They build themselves as the original transfer news and gossip site. And I do remember back in the day, they have been going for a while.
Yeah, I remember reading them as a kid. Looking at it.
Court Offside. They do a lot of stuff with with Fabrizio Romano, as the sirens in the chat. A lot of stuff with Fabrizio Romano and others, usually in there somewhere or somewhat with things on transfers, but not saying it's true or it's going to happen, but just interesting. They're saying Al Nassr are ready to submit a bid of around 40 million euros to United for Casemiro. I mean, look, obviously, I don't think we need to discuss what we would do if 40 million euros landed on our doorstep. Would you take it? Would you not? I don't think it's even a discussion at this point. I will speak for everybody. I will pull rank and say, if you don't agree with this opinion, then I don't like you. I've lost respect for you. If you think Casemiro should stay at this football club and we should walk away from 40 million euros, I've lost respect for you right here, right now. But yes, a Court Offside are saying that. That it will be really interesting to see as well. This is something. Here you go. Here's a little bit of a topic on the way out to get us to 500 as well. If Ineos do things like that, someone sit Casemiro down and say, we know you got 3 years on your deal. However, we are openly looking to sell you. It's up to you what you do with your agent. If you decide to stay, and I know it's an asset and business doesn't always work like this, and I get it, but find a way to say, because if you do stay, you're not playing. You're going to be on the bench. And at this stage of your career, you're very decorated, one of the top midfielders there's been in this generation. However, the new manager or Eric as well, you're going to take a back seat, Cash. Just know that. So then it becomes, obviously, he can just dig his heels in for 3 years and say, I'll just sit here, which is the problem we gave ourselves, by the way. I get that. Or, he wants to go and he strikes me as someone I don't think would want to be in that situation. Getting laughed at, yes, money's got money in it. Got money.
Yeah, I mean,
especially if it's a Saudi, because you can pick up probably the same wage.
Yeah, it depends what sort of proposition is put to him, isn't it? You could say, look, it's not going very well here, but Al Nassr have said that they'll take you. The wage you're currently on, they'll give you more. They'll give you more. Cristiano's here and he says it's great and maybe that works out. But depends what kind of personality he is. He might be like, no, I've got something to prove. I want to stay in Europe. Another thing, breaking news. The Premier League Young Player of the Season nominees have just been revealed. And there is a Manchester United representative on that list. On the list, the nominees for Young Player of the Season are Phil Foden of Manchester City, Erling Haaland of Manchester City, Alexander Isak of Newcastle United, Kobbie Mainoo of Manchester United, Cole Palmer of Chelsea, Bukayo Saka of Arsenal, William Saliba of Arsenal, and Destiny Udogie from Spurs. That is
I
the
don't
8
like
people that are
there's the
nominated.
young player thing, right? I
Some of them,
don't like some
is
of it.
Erling Haaland doesn't feel like a young player, does he?
Yeah.
But he
I
is.
think there needs to be a cut off because I know the 22, 23, it's ridiculous like how young these guys are and Saka and stuff like that. And Foden's what, 22? It's a joke. Like Foden feels like he's been around for ages,
Yeah.
which shows you just how good he is. Because that means when he was like 18,
Yeah.
like he was just doing ridiculous stuff, even though he had to play behind like David Silva and he couldn't get in properly to this level. He was still in and around it at 18, which is just ridiculous. Saka as well, what he's done, and he's only 22. Yeah, you can say he hasn't won this and that. What he's done performance-wise, how good he is, it's a joke.
Yeah.
So I'm like, them man shouldn't really be. Foden should be up his player of the season.
Like Haaland on
Vibe.
that list feels wrong.
Haaland. Yeah, it shouldn't be that. Even Saka, like them man are not young anymore. They've got over like 200 appearances at senior level. Like,
who do you think wins it though? Who do you think wins that? If you had to predict,
it's gonna probably go to whoever wins the league, isn't it?
you reckon? I think Cole
yeah,
Palmer's. I think
Palmer
Cole
should.
Palmer's
I
got a
think
good
Cole
shout
Palmer,
for that.
Palmer should. But if City win the league, it's not going to be Cole Palmer. It's going to be Phil Foden.
Foden. And so, because sometimes it depends on who they give Player of the Season to as well, isn't it? You know,
Well,
what I mean?
actually, Foden got that. Oh no, we got the writers one.
Yeah, this is
What if
Premier
Foden
League.
got one the other day? Oh, this is Premier League. So,
because sometimes it depends, doesn't it? Because sometimes if they give someone the award for like Player of the Season, they go, "No, he probably could have got Player of the Season." They go, "We'll give him Young Player of the Season." Sometimes they sort of do that.
But then Arsenal are going to be so close to City. But Palmer's been good. It's got to be Palmer, man.
I think you'd probably give it Palmer or Foden.
Palmer or Foden if Foden doesn't get Player of the Year. Because also, with Haaland, he scored 4 the other day. He's going to carry on getting the golden boot. If City win the league, even though he's been out for ages, you're going to look at his numbers and go, he still smashed it.
And I think with like a Cobby, you just go, wow, when did this season kind of start? Sort of October, November kind of time as well. And as much as he's been brilliant, I don't think you can say he's been like, Cole Palmer or Foden or Saka.
No. I think it'll be Cole Palmer.
Yeah, I think it probably should. And if you're talking about an individual season, and also as well, he's been in a not good team, struggling team, and he's dragged them. And it's not just him; it's goals and assists, isn't it? He's had a incredible.
But for me, it should be Foden because he's doing it in a team like that's. He's doing it at the high end of it, like they're competing for the league, and this guy's turning up. But like, if he could, like I said, he's been that good, Foden, that he could actually get Player of the Season if City win it, which makes it easier to give to Palmer. So, super chats before we wrap up the challenges. Let me Craig block. So Harry says the challenge with both is one last year on contracts, either sell both or a new contract for one. I think that's with the Lindelof Maguire situation. And Nessie says, I just want to big up you two and the whole UV fam for being here through the good and bad times. Glory, glory, Man United. We wouldn't have it any other way. When it gets tough, we can't just shut the channel down. No. Although I joke that I will.
Yeah, well.
But I always throw that empty threat out that I'm going to shut the channel
Lost
down.
respect, channel shutting down.
Shut the laptop. You all know I'm obviously joking when I say that. Fat4 says, Flex, the United stand workhorse to UV chief. Owen, well-mannered man to the king of receipts. KG, reckless in his moped. To reckless in everything. Great Trinity. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. We've all got our stories, mate. We've all got our individual stories and paths and journeys as well. Show says, just want to say, Fleck, you're a disgrace for not agreeing with me. Shut the channel down. 493 likes, guys. Get 7 likes in the bag. 7 likes in the bag as we depart. What have we got today? I tell you what, we've got loads of stuff going on today. I've got a busy day. I will be filming all of the pre-match stuff, all of the bits of content that we need for Arsenal. That's going to include Robbie. I think we've got What the Devil at 6 p.m. tonight with Turkish on there as well, and myself. So much going on. So make sure you guys tune in later on, 6 p.m. for What the Devil. Follow our community on Playback as well. Loads of good things, extra shows going on there as well. So join the community on there too. 507 likes, 509 likes. Well done, guys. Good show, big show. Enjoy the sun wherever you are. We're out of here. Peace.